What is up, everyone? Pyzilla57 here with another monthly update video. So again, I'm sorry that I am late posting this, just like I was last month. I thought I was going to be able to get this up earlier, but clearly that did not happen. I had some more stuff going on this month, and then part of it was just me being kind of lazy. I switched around a little bit in my apartment on like where I sit and play games and stuff like that, so I haven't been sitting at my writing desk where I usually record these and have my microphone and all that stuff. So it was all cluttered and I had to clear it off and stuff like that. But that being said, I know I said this last month, but I think next month I should be able to get this uploaded shortly after it turns July. Not going to make any promises, of course, but that is the intention. Things have died down a little bit here. So if you've seen my other videos of this type, then you know how this works. If not, then basically I just go through the trophies I earned and the games I played during each month. In this case, it'll be May. And I just kind of give my thoughts on the games I played and whether or not I liked them and enjoyed them, and possibly give some tips on some of the trophies I earned if any of them were a little bit tricky, and just give my thoughts on them. So, and how I do this is I go to my profile on PSN Profiles, which is what you see here, and I just go to my trophy log, and it just lists like all the trophies you've earned in chronological order. So I go to the very end of May, and I just work my way backwards until I hit the beginning of May, and that is pretty much it. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's gotta go down to May, and so the very last trophy I earned in May was blinding 100 enemies with the Head of Helios in God of War 3 Remastered. So a consistent theme that's been through a lot of these videos, if you've watched any of the others, is one of my main goals for this year in terms of the games I play and complete is I'm trying to increase my completion percentage. And so I've been going through and playing a lot of games that I've started years ago and finishing up the platinum, or maybe I already had the platinum and there's DLC I went back and completed. I know, and I think it was in February. There was a lot. I think the games I played most in February were games I already had the platinum and went back and did the DLC to finish off those games. So God of War 3 is Remastered is one of those games where I started about 3.5 years ago. I think in November of 2015 was my first trophy, and when I first played it, I only earned the first trophy from beating the first boss at the very beginning of the game, and I kind of dropped it for some reason and went to other games, and I finally went back to it in May. This was the first time I played it since then. So, and part of the reason I haven't gone back is because of how disappointing the new God of War was that released last year. I played that shortly after release because of all the good reviews and hype it got, and it was just very disappointing. So that was one of the reasons I haven't gone back to it. But of course, prior to that releasing, I didn't go back to it just because I had other stuff I wanted to play, not because I didn't enjoy this. But yeah, so I wasn't sure what to expect to this game going back to it, since I was so disappointed in God of War 2018, the new one. But I have heard from other people that this is God of War 3 Remastered is the best God of War game in the series, and it's much better than the new one. So I decided to finally go back to it because I only had one trophy in it, and I knew it'd be pretty quick to clean up. And it only took me a few days to end up finishing it, but I was very thoroughly surprised with this game because I did enjoy this game a lot more than I was expecting going in. This was a really great game, and I think a lot of the games I played in May weren't very good, so it was nice to come back to this game and to a good game and actually enjoy it. So I was definitely very pleasantly surprised with this game, and the game is very straightforward in terms of the platinum. It's not very difficult. You do have to beat the game on hard mode, which was a tad challenging in some parts, but overall it wasn't too bad. There were a few parts where I had to retry many times, but overall hard mode wasn't too bad. But yeah, so I don't think there's really any specific trophies I need to talk about. And if I'm remembering correctly, this trophy right here might be the first trophy I earned in the game since going back to it. We'll soon find out. And no, I was wrong. There's 3 others. So, yeah, there's nothing really to worry about in terms of trophies in this game. There are a few missables, so if you're doing that, then you don't want to do a second playthrough, then it's recommended you follow a collectible guide, because there are quite a few collectibles you need to get to like upgrade your health, your magic, stamina, and all that stuff. One thing I do want to mention is there is a trophy for completing the maze near the end of the game without dying, and there is a neat workaround for that. So to remember exactly how it works, but I think so if you die, so there's a save point right before you start, so you want to make a backup save, and so if you die, instead of hitting continue, you want to exit to the main menu, and then if you load up your auto save, it will bring you back to where you were in the maze, and it won't count that death. So that's pretty neat that you don't have to worry about that. And the maze isn't all that difficult even on hard. I did die a few times, so I had to quit to the main menu and reload the autosave, but overall it wasn't too bad. So moving on is Star Wars Battlefront 2. So I decided to finally go back to this game because pretty much all I had done in this game was just beat the campaign. I didn't do the DLC leading into this, but I just pretty much beat the campaign. I didn't spend all that much time in online, but I decided to finally go back to this because they've been doing a whole bunch of like double and triple XP weekends. They've done it like earlier in the year as well, and there's so many times where I'd be like, alright, I really should go back to this game since they're doing these XP weekends, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it because I just really did not want to. But I decided, alright, it's finally time, let's go back to the game. And I have enjoyed it more than I thought I would. It's much better than the first Star Wars Battlefront. One, because there's a campaign, which was lacking in the first game, and I really didn't like that. And the online mode is much more polished too, I believe, especially the Heroes vs. Villains game mode, which in my opinion is the best game mode in this game. And it wasn't very good in the first one. Like in the first one, I think it was also 4v4, but you start off as 4 just like regular troopers against 4 others, and there's a hero icon on the map that you have to go and find, and then whoever gets that icon becomes a hero, and then the team has to kill the hero and blah blah blah. But in this game it's still 4v4, but there's like a list of 10 or so heroes and 10 villains that you get to choose from, so you're either on the hero side or the villain side. And right at the start of the game you choose the villain or hero that you want, so then the entire game is 4 heroes versus 4 villains, and it's just a lot more fun. And one trophy right here, choose your path while being marked, defeat 50 marked enemies and heroes versus villains. A lot of people thought this trophy was going to be unobtainable because I think it was toward the end of last month, they removed the marking system, because usually how this game works is there's a hero and a villain on each team that become marked, and you have to kill that marked player to get a point. And the first to 10 points, or you start at 10 points and then you go down, like every time a marked hero on your team dies, you go down 1, and whoever gets to 0 first loses. But what they did was they removed this marking system, and they just have it as 35 kills total on each team. Whichever team gets to 35 first wins. And I do like that a lot more than this. So people thought this was going to be unobtainable because they're removing the marking system, but EA confirmed that they were going to change it, and they did. So now I believe it's just kill 50 enemies in general in Heroes vs. Villains. So it is much easier now. It's not unobtainable as some people thought that was going to be. But so this is my favorite game mode in the game, and I only have, I think, like 6 trophies left in the game. But one of them is to get to rank 50, which is a bitch because you need so much XP. I'm only 37 right now, and to get to the next level, each level I need more than 200,000 XP, and you, without any double or triple XP, like on Heroes vs. Villains, is generally the game mode that gives you the most XP, like per time limit, and you'll probably get 10 to 14,000 XP per match. So if you're like me and you were kind of putting the game off and didn't really feel like you wanted to do the triple and double XP weekends, like if you just don't feel like you want to play it, then I highly recommend you take advantage of those. They've been doing them a lot more. Like a couple weeks ago, they had triple XP across all game modes. There was one last month where they had, once the new system in Heroes vs. Villains like went live that weekend, they had double XP in Heroes vs. Villains, and they had like triple XP in Starfighter Assault. At the last weekend of this month, they're having triple XP in Capital Supremacy. So they usually have a roadmap for the month that EA tweets out at the beginning of each month and just like lists all the different events they're doing. So if you're going for this, if you want the platinum in this game and trying to reach rank 20 or reach rank 50, then I highly suggest you take advantage of these, because even with double or triple XP, it takes so long. So, but other than that, most of these trophies are pretty straightforward. They just some of them just take a little bit of time, like destroy 25 objectives in Starfighter Assault. I was getting maybe 3, 4, 5 a game. So some of them do take a little bit of time, like get 20 kill streaks to interceptor ships. That one was also time consuming, but none of them are super bad. You just got to play it for a little while. So right before I started this, we're still in May. Say we're already on May 8th. Like there was a big jump in the middle of May where I wasn't really playing many games because I just had a lot going on that I had to focus on other stuff. But toward the end of the month, I had some more time again. So at the beginning of May, I got the platinum for Red Dead Redemption, and also had the 100% Zed's Dead Baby for attaining 100% game completion in Undead Nightmare. And this was the last DLC trophy I had, and I actually had, going into this, I had pretty much everything in the base game done, and I was just kind of rigging it by leaving the Dastardly trophy left, because I wanted to have all the DLC done so that when I went back and popped the plat, then I would have 100% in the game and I didn't have to go back to the DLC after the plat to finish it up. Like that's kind of how I like to do my games. Like if I play a game and the DLC is already out, then I try to do the DLC before I get the plat, just because then once I get the plat, I'm done with the game and have 100%. Whereas if I get the platinum first and then there are some that I still have DLC, then I feel less inclined to go back to do the DLC trophies, or I might put it off a little bit, like I have with so many games that I've completed this year so far. So many games where I've got the platinum and then 2 years later I went and did the DLC. So it's just nice to have the DLC done, and then once I get the plat, I'm done with the game. And that is what I did with this. And I think I complained a lot about this game in my last video, because I was playing this leading into May and at the end of April as well. So why not take another chance to complain about Red Dead Redemption, because it's that bad of a game and it's worth complaining about again. So basically, last summer, yes, it was last summer, a big group of us in my Discord server, we all boosted all of the online and multiplayer trophies, and the co-op ones. And I didn't have this game, I didn't have it started, but when we were getting people to getting people together to do these trophies, they asked me, and like, I don't have it, but I'm like, be a good game to have in my profile and complete. I've heard good things, even though I wasn't a big fan of GTA 5. I heard good things about Red Dead Redemption, so I'm like, alright, I'll get it. If we're gonna get all the online done, might as well go ahead and do it now. So we got all the online trophies done last summer. I think sometime in September I finished all the online, and I had put off the single player until April and decided, alright, I'm gonna go back to it. I've heard good things about the single player. The online was terrible. Red Dead Online, the co-op, everything was just atrocious about the online. So I'm like, alright, I'll do the single player. That's where the game's supposed to be good. And it was still super disappointing. The story was alright, but the story wasn't anything special. It was just super long and drawn out, and the pacing was very bad in the story. The gameplay and controls of this game, along with pretty much every other Rockstar game, is just terrible. And then when you add on the terrible online component of the game, this game just overall is not very good. And I don't know how it got a Game of the Year edition. I don't know why it got so much hype. There's so many people who are like, oh yeah, this is my favorite game, or one of my favorite games of all time. I just personally don't understand it, because there was just nothing appealing about the game. I did like this Wild Wild West setting. Like, that was kind of cool, but that's pretty much the only thing it has going for it. Single player is, like I said, not very good. The online is even worse. The gameplay and controls, just terrible. So this game doesn't really have anything going for it, in my opinion. So like I said, I don't know why people liked it. Even the Undead Nightmare, people praise this as one of the best zombie DLCs ever, and as well as some people say it's one of the best DLCs ever just in general. And again, it was a super shitty DLC. Like, it was super repetitive. You just go around doing the same thing for hours, and then you have stupid unicorns and chupacabras you have to go and find, which are RNG spawns, and it was just annoying. So one thing I do need to point out is it glitched on me, the Undead Nightmare. So there are 4 horses of the apocalypse that are RNG that you have to find and break them. And one of them glitched on me, and I just had to restart the entire Undead Nightmare. And I had all of the DLC, or I had the story done. I had liberated and cleared out all the towns and settlements. I basically just had a few of these challenges left, and like 2 more of the horses to find and break, but one of them glitched on me and just would not spawn at all. So I had to restart the entire Undead Nightmare DLC, had to redo the entire story again, go and clear out every settlement, because I had to do all of that for attaining 100% game completion. So that was really annoying. And then once I finally finished that, I just loaded up the game. Like, as you can see here, 4:48 p.m. I got the last trophy, loaded up the base game, and in less than 20 minutes I had the plat. So yeah, nothing good to say about Red Dead Redemption. The trophies are pretty straightforward, though, I will say, except for a lot of the online and co-op and stuff like that. But single player wise, it's pretty easy. There is one missable trophy, which I think I got last month or in April, and talked about it in my last video. But there's just one trophy that's missable, and it's basically just using the same horse for 20 consecutive missions. Because if you break a new horse and you tie it up at a post, then you now have that new horse instead of the one you were using. So you just basically have to complete 20 missions with the same horse. And I think I had the same horse for, I think there were like 62 or 63 missions, and I had the same horse for, I think, like at least 40 of them. So it's really not that hard of a trophy, but it is something to keep an eye on for. So I'm gonna assume the rest of this month was all Red Dead Redemption as well. Yep. So the first trophy I earned in May was Complete and the Truth Will Set You Free, which is just a story-related trophy in Red Dead Redemption. But yeah, like I said, there is nothing really difficult about Red Dead Redemption. If you do a lot of the online and co-op legit, then it can be pretty challenging and takes a long time. Luckily, there are glitch lobbies and you can rank up to 50 online pretty easily and pretty quickly. And if you have enough people, you can do a lot of the DLC or online trophies in a boosting group, especially since there's surprisingly still some people who play the online for whatever reason, because as I mentioned, it's really bad. But there are some people who still play it. But for the most part, there aren't too many people playing it. So if you have enough people and go in the online, then you can do it. Get a lot of it done pretty easily. I think a lot of it was also you're able to do in private lobbies, but there are some you have to do in public lobbies. But yeah, that concludes my video. Like I said, played a lot, finished Red Dead Redemption at the beginning of May. Then during the middle of the month, I didn't have too much time to play, and then toward the end, I picked things back up. And yeah, so like I said, I should have June's video up shortly after the end of the month. That's the goal, and I think I will be able to do it. So yeah, as always, feel free to like the video if you want, or feel free to comment below what you thought of my games. If you enjoy Red Dead Redemption, feel free to leave a comment on saying why, because I am genuinely curious on why you think this is a good game. Like, I'm not trying to bash the game and say it's complete shit just for the sake of it. Like, I gave my opinion. I don't think anything about this game is that good. And as I mentioned, I know a lot of people live by this game. It's one of their favorite games of all time. And if you're one of them, if you like the game, feel free to comment below tell me why. I'm not trying to invalidate your opinion. I'm just curious on what you think makes this a good game, because I am curious and I want to hear it from a different perspective. And also feel free to comment below if you have any other suggestions for how to make these videos better, or if there's any other types of videos you want to see. I know I've slacked in terms of uploading other videos besides these, but I think part of that is because, as I mentioned, I've been playing older games and just trying to clean things up, so I haven't really played that many new games, and there's not many point in making videos on some of these older games where there's not many people play them anymore, or there are already so many other videos on how to get some of the trophies. And I also don't own an Elgato yet, so I can't even record gameplay on the PS3. But feel free to comment below if there's any other types of videos you want me to put out. I know next month the new Wolfenstein game comes out, and just like I did with Wolfenstein 2, some of my best viewed videos are from Wolfenstein 2, so I'm hoping to put out some videos on Wolfenstein Youngblood. I already have the game pre-ordered digitally, so I'll be playing that right as it releases, and I'm hoping I'll be able to get some videos up on that game as well. So yeah, that's it for this month, and thank you for watching if you've made it this far. Alright, thanks guys. Pizilla out.